All right, the recording start back. We just want to talk about the concept of nested looping. And of course, nested looping is much like the nested if statements. It's where one loop acts as the control for another loop which does a task. Okay, so let's say, for instance, we wanted to produce a pattern like this. How would we do this? Well, let me ask, do you all see a pattern in this? Do you see a pattern in that?
So you add in a star every time you go down.
All right. So you're very correct. We have a star adding every time you go down. And if you consider the first line, line 1, then each line prints the same amount of stars corresponding to its line number. Correct? You all see that pattern?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we have essentially, and I'm drawing it out just to make sure that everybody, right? So this is line 1. So we have 1 star. We have line 2. We have 2 stars. Right? Line 3, 3 stars. Line 4, 4 stars. And line 5 would be 5 stars. So how would we achieve such a pattern? Well, I know that if I wanted to print 1 star using a for loop, I could have gone for x is equal to 1 to 1, step 1, print asterisk, end 4. And my output for a statement such as this, for x is equal to 1 to 1, if I wanted to draw my output, it would have been 1 star, right? So because I'm going from 1 to 1. If I had 1 to 10, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay? So now if it was 1 to 10, I'd have an output of 10 stars. If now I can say to myself, right, let's say, for instance, we have, instead of print, we have a command called println. ln. And what println does is, instead of starting the print after I make a print on the same line, it goes down to the next line. My output would be something like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I have 10 stars going down, because println would say, okay, print out what I have here, and then send the next item down to the next line. Everybody's with me?
Yes, sir.
Good.
Yes, sir.
So we've learned 2 concepts there. We've learned the concept of println, and we've learned, let's say we refresh the concept of looping. Now we can mix these things. We can mix these things into 2 for loops. One for loop that will control this here. So let's say, for instance, we go for, and we have 5 in this instance. We have 4, x is equal to 1 to 5, right? Print ln asterisk. We know that for a fact, n4, that I'll get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But the thing is, I don't want 1 asterisk on each line. I want actually a repeat of asterisks on every line. So what I can do is for every line, I can say print up to X amount of asterisks for that line. So I could say for Y is equal to 1 to X. Okay, and in each case we step 1, we step. So for Y is equal to 1 to X, step 1, I want to print an asterisk. And when I end this for, I could just simply print an empty print line, which tells me go down on the next line. So what will happen now is that I'm saying, okay, what is the value of X? What is the value of Y? What is my output? If X starts at 1, I go in down here and I say for Y is equal to 1 to X, so Y is equal to 1 to. So Y starts off at 1, and I say print an asterisk. So I print an asterisk. Step 1, Y will go up to 2. We can't go into the for loop. So I go down and I print my invisible character that tells me go down to the next line. And then X now goes up to 2. So now I say for Y is equal to 1, the value of Y gets reset to 1. To 2, I print an asterisk. So this is where Y is 1. I print an asterisk. This is where Y is 2. Then Y will go up to 3. I can't go into the loop, so that I have to now print ln here. And I will end up going down to the next line to print. Okay? So I know that I start my value on the next line. So I'll end up with X being 3. I'll print 1, print an asterisk. 2, print an asterisk. 3, print an asterisk. 4, I had to stop at 3. I had to stop at where X is. So I can't go into the for loop. I print line, so I have to go down. X is 4. It's the same thing. 1, I print an asterisk. 2, I print an asterisk. 3, I print an asterisk. 4, I print an asterisk. And it will go to 5 because of the whole stop at 4. I go, and my 4 doesn't go in when it goes to 5. I have to print the line. So I know that I start the next one and the last one. And then X is going to be 5. And I'll get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It'll go to 6. And we have to stop because it said to stop after 5. We'll print that ln. So we prep to print on the next line. But what happens here? We wanted to print at 5, stop at 5, and X would have gone to 6 at this point, which means that we have to stop the N4. So this is our output loop here. Everybody with me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, simple. That's the concept of nested looping. All right. So we can have some different concepts regarding it. Let's try and just see it in code quickly before we leave. Okay, we want to see it in code quickly before we leave. So I'm going to share my screen, my whole screen. Share my whole screen here. And I named this one nested4.c. Okay, so we have nested4.c. We'll start off include stdio.h, include stdlib.h. And where do we want to go from here? We have two variables. We had int x and y. And we have a for loop, for, right? We have a for loop, and we say in C, remember the for structure different. In C, the for loop structure, this is just what you call it, a preview, and we will go through this again in detail for C, right? So in C, we have for, we'll say for x is equal to 1, semicolon, x is less than or equal to 5. So what does this say? This is my start condition here. This is my start condition. X is starting at 1. This is my condition to continue looping. X is less than or equal to 5. And then this is my increment, x plus plus, right? Which is shorthand for x is equal to x plus 1. X plus plus is shorthand x is equal to x plus 1. So it's just a short way of representing that. And then inside here, we will say for y is equal to 1, semicolon, y is less than or equal to x, semicolon, y plus plus. It's the same thing like inside of the x, and then we say printf. Printf what? We want to printf an asterisk, and underneath here, we'll have to say printf, and down here we will say printf \n, which is a new line character. Okay, so \n is a new line character. So \n is one character. Remember when we were talking about characters and I told you that we have single characters that have more than one character in it? This is an example of that. \n means new line character. In programming, the backslash is called an escape character. So if you actually wanted to print a backslash, you have to go \\, which would mean single backslash character, because I have to escape using the escape character. We'll take a look at that just now too. Let's just take a look at this code. So this code here gives us the same asterisk pattern that we have here. Any questions? Any issues? Anybody have any
Yeah, I still need you to post like a document with all these \n and stuff, and like just a brief summary of what they are, because
Okay.
I think I would just like to read them. Although I know I wouldn't remember all, just to have some kind of knowledge with them now.
Okay, no problem. No problem. You could again send me the message. Just message.
Right.
All right then. Any other question?
Yes, sir. I don't really know what Y supposed to represent in the code. So if you can maybe
Y
just
right here?
yeah,
This Y?
yes, sir.
Right. So in both cases, just like X, Y is a counter. All right. So again, we could say, I could print out printf line %d, and we could say X, right? And instead of printing out this, we could say we could say line %d, and down here we could say printf %d, and we have the value of Y printing out here. And what you're now going to get is like a pyramid of numbers, each on its own particular line. So let's say, for instance, we want to actually see, semicolon, sorry. We want to see what is coming out. This value here, where you see the line number, that's what X is. And this value here is what Y is. It's represented by Y. You follow me? So y is this value here, these values here. All of these values here are y. X is this here. So X controls the lines going down, and Y controls the values going across. Does that clear up anything?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that was just a snippet. As I said, we will come back to this. We'll come back to this. It was just like a little, a little pre-prep thing for you guys to just get your mind wrapped around having to do this. This is something, nested looping is something that is very popular in programming. We will be using it to manipulate structures and data, etc. So, I just want to kind of prep you all, as in, even this is something that we will eventually have to learn to master and use. All right. So with that being said, I think that's it for us and class today. Do we have any questions before we officially close off? Besides having to send the placeholders in C. Yes, no? All right, so I can assume that I'm leaving everybody in a good place right now.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I hear Clement. Anybody else?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, please know again, and I always say it, if it is that you all having any difficulty, message me. Even with the let me stop recording at this point. Even with the